done during that month, that would be helpful. And if you don't have a report, then we'll just put your report off till the next time. Is that okay? Anybody have any thoughts?
Annette, that's fine.
Okay, wonderful. Anybody else? Okay. For now, though, if anybody has any information you want to share on your subcommittee, please do. You know, we got the letter that came out that Wanda sent us, and we were saying we were going to send it out to our subcommittee members. I'll be honest, I have not done that. Other things have been taking a priority, but somebody else might have a report. Linda?
Yeah, so Doc, can you hear me all right?
Fine.
Okay. So, you know, our committee is doing oral histories, which we're going to have to do by phone anyway. So we did have a Zoom meeting with the 3 people who have agreed to help, 3 other persons and myself. And 2 of them are very appropriate because they were born and raised here, and they know a lot of the people who lived here and live here. So they're great for the committee. So we did meet, we went over our script. We approved a script of what we would ask the people. And because of COVID, we're just going to do it through our phones, recorded on a cell phone, or whatever works best for each person. And I guess the only question I have is, once we start collecting these, how shall we get them to the committee?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Do you know, Wanda? Had you all discussed this before our committee was formed?
No, we did not.
Well, we can table that because we haven't started yet. And I'll ask the committee members for their thoughts on how to get a finished product to you. But we can table that for now.
Yeah, we can all think about it too and see what would be the best way. There's a lot of questions we have unanswered that we're really going to have to address, and that's one of them.
Yes, and I think that with the pandemic, it has certainly thrown a monkey wrench in a lot of the things that have been discussed prior to. So now we're all kind of taking it day by day. And if anyone has any thoughts in terms of a good way to do that, that would be a great thing to recommend and share for the other subcommittees as well. But there was no way to, as everyone anticipated this. So no, we didn't make a plan for that.
Okay, yeah, we'll have, by the time you finish, Linda, hopefully we'll have a plan. Anybody else have any ideas or thoughts or reports or whatever on your committee? Anybody met with their members or either made phone calls to them?
I have a question. Can you all hear me? I guess you don't.
We can hear.
Oh, okay. All right. Linda, you said you're doing the oral histories over the phone. Does that mean you're writing them or are you recording them? That's my question.
Well, we were hoping that we could get a professional type recorder from the city, but as Councilwoman Scipio said last time, the city does not have money for that. So we're going to have to go with whatever we have, which may not be a high quality of a recorder. Some people will be using their cell phone recorders. If we have the old-fashioned audio recorders, we'll use that. And when I do it, I type as I'm listening, but of course very fast. So I have to use the recording to go back and make corrections.
All right.
So
And the question was, where do you send these after you've collected them all is the question.
That's what we need to decide. We'll just hang on to them until the committee decides how we want to do it.
Okay. All right.
Does that answer your question?
I was just curious. I was curious as to how the oral histories were being recorded, if they were being recorded over the phone, or if you were writing or writing what they were telling you. Because I just heard you say you're doing it over the phone. So
We're actually doing both of those things.
okay, all right. Yeah, that answers my question.
Okay.
Super.
Good.
Yeah, because oral history is different than what the other committees are doing, so it's gonna have to have a special plan. Anybody else want to give us any updated on this committee? Okay, so let's all be prepared, myself included, that we'll give a report, so that'll really make me get busy and contact my committee and go from there.
And Mr.
All of
Philip,
us.
I do want to interject and say I do encourage everyone to use the customizable template for your because I think we sent those out last month when you all asked that we do that, and so it's really important to we can use right now with all of the circumstances that are going on. But the letter is customizable. It was sent in Word format so that you could tweak it and customize it in whatever way you need. So I would strongly encourage you to use that.
So we use that for submitting documents or pictures? Is that what you're saying?
You can customize it in whatever way you'd like. It's like you said, different subcommittees have different needs. And so what you all asked for and discussed was having some type of template language, some kind of default language that you could customize to fit your needs. And so feel free to do whatever it is that you need to do to make it work for you.
Okay, good.
Your committee.
Sounds good. Okay. So we'll be prepared next time so that more of us will have more information. At least I got a plan to call my committee people, which I have not done, and set up a call. So hopefully all of us can at least do that.
Dot, may I ask a question?
Uh-huh.
And Wanda, may I ask a question to you and tell me if I'm out of order? There's so many other people on the call that I don't know personally. I'm assuming they are staff. Could we introduce the staff members so that we'll know who is where? Is that okay
Ms.
to
Linda.
do?
It most certainly is. And my apologies for not doing that up front. We definitely have a lot of city staff on the call, and this is a great segue because I think I was up next on the agenda, Mr. Philip. So
Yeah, I'm not done yet, though. I'm not done. So
you're not done. So I'll wait till it's my turn.
Okay, is that okay, Linda? Okay. Okay, another thing that I wanted to mention was the idea of collaboration. I know that other people, and some of you on this call, especially, are doing similar kinds of things as far as African American history is concerned. And my thinking, and I always have this thought, and it makes sense to me. It doesn't always make sense to other people. With so many people doing so many things, how can we collaborate? It just seems like it would make our project stronger and other projects stronger if we all at least collaborated. I mean, for instance, Cheryl is working, and I got an email about the pop-up museum that they're working on, and then talked to Linda about the preservation 21st, and I talked to Billy Rich about, the archives, and I'm sure there are other things going on in the city. Can we have a short discussion on how we could make sure that we connect? I think anything that happens in isolation, when there are other things going on, it's not nearly as strong as it could be if we all knew what the others were doing and if we all could support each other. I just think support is so important. We're all in the same city, so why not? Any thoughts on that?
Good idea. I think that's an excellent idea. Yeah.
What would collaboration?
I do too, Dr. Thula. When I sent the information about the pop-up exhibit, I sent it directly to you as the chairperson of the committee.
Okay, and see, I didn't get
that. So I thought we were collaborating because nothing has happened yet on that. Also sent it to Linda with the African American Archive, and I did hear back from her that they want to participate. So I totally agree that with us all working together. So from that, do we send information just to you, or should we send it to the entire committee?
I was wondering, this is just my thinking, I was wondering if those of you who are connected to African American History Projects, if you'd be willing to share a little bit about what you're doing in each meeting, if it's appropriate, or if you have information to share.
Yeah, that's a great idea too, I think.
You agree, Linda? Cool. And another request I have is next time we meet, hopefully we're not adding too much to our agenda, but could we have a more lengthy discussion? I'd like to invite Billy Rich with the archives or anybody else who has a similar project to share with us. Would that be okay with other folks? I mean, we don't want Billy to come and talk for an hour or even 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think, we just give people an allotted amount of time to make a presentation if you want to do it like that, and then we know how long it's going to take.
Exactly.
And Wanda, I don't know if we have slides. Is it possible that we could bring slides? Share a screen with slides, is that possible?
I was just going to say the same thing, Cheryl. If we could ask those people, Billy Rich, maybe Neighbors for Better Neighborhoods, just to submit 2 or 3 sentences about their project or their proposals for or strategies for the year in terms of African American history. And then Dot, you could pull those together, submit them to Dot. Dot, you could pull those together and present that with us, a slide. I think that would be great. And then we wouldn't have to worry about asking somebody to be quiet.
So if you're saying the idea of sending it to me and then I could put something together, that could happen. I'm just thinking maybe to present it, we should send it to have the city actually, because they can do it more professionally. Not
Good
that
idea.
I can put together something, but you understand.
Good idea.
Okay. Any other thoughts? Jane, Annette?
This Annette, I'm not as familiar with even what they're doing, so I really don't have any comments, but I would love to hear more about it.
Okay. Linda, is Delta Arts Center, are they doing anything around African American history?
They always have something during the year. I do not know exactly what is going on with COVID, but I do have a contact there, Peggy, and I will call her and find out and ask her to submit, again, a brief description. And I'll ask her to submit it to me, and then I can forward it to Wanda.
Okay. And you mentioned NBN before. The NBN, I'm not sure exactly what they do. I have done some work with them.
Right.
We can ask them.
Neighbors for Better Neighborhoods, that's what you're talking about?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that Delta, if you're on the distribution list, they are doing a, which I think is really, really cool, sending out videos, sort of like, some online things. They've done a interview that they sent out an interview that they did with John Biggers prior to his doing the work. Was it prior or during the Biggers murals? So they do have a pretty strong online or email distribution activities going on during this time that have been very, I've enjoyed getting. And I think they're working on the quilt exhibition for February.
So it wouldn't hurt to talk to Peggy and find out more, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we can invite her to submit something so we can, or to come to the meeting or whatever we need from them.
Yeah, or whoever the representative is.
Right. Sounds good. Any other thoughts?
This is Jane. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I'm still feeling my way. I do have people who have given me commitments of being on the subcommittee, and I'm just going to meet with a small number, which is 6. But I think it's a good idea to see what others are doing, and that to me that would sort of help guide me
Sure.
as what to say to them, and that's where I am now. And so I will meet in September
Right.
with a small group.
That's really helpful what you just said, James, because I think that should encourage us even more to share more and more about what we're doing, because it could help another group. Yeah. Super. So you said that you're going to meet with them in September. Is that what I just heard you say?
Yes.
So maybe when we have our next meeting, we should perhaps put it toward the middle of the month.
I think the middle of the month is better.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And so Wanda and Larry, if you're still listening, it would be helpful if you help us with that when we do it. Okay. One last thing I wanted to ask. Was somebody else going to say something? No.
I had a question, Dr.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to know if you did read the email and if it's something that, I mean, I know you read the email, but do you think it's something that the initiative might want to participate in, the pop-up museum? Or would you send a representative to the first meeting that we're having? And you may ask, when is the first meeting? It'll be sometime this month. So would you be, are you planning to participate with the pop-up museum, or is that something we need to discuss? Or
Yeah, I wasn't really clear that you were sending that to me as representative of this group.
okay, all right.
And I should have called you, Cheryl. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right, okay.
But I'd like more information, but I can't speak for this group, except that I would encourage that we work with you on that if you want us to. And any other thoughts on that, Linda, Jane, and that? How do you feel about us working with, this is through Tricultural Arts, right?
Well, actually, this is Tricultural Arts, Heritage 365. It's a couple committees. I'm working on it with them, so yes.
What's Heritage
So we're
365?
trying to form a collaborative of organizations for this.
Okay, and that's what 365 is, a group of,
yes.
Okay. Ideas, input. Linda, and that?
Well, as most of you know, I'm always one to collaborate and to communicate, and I think lots of time, well, I just know for myself, lots of times I find out about things either the day they are happening or the day after. So I think it would be great if we could all collaborate. And I think if, Cheryl, if you were to get, say, let's do wishful thinking, say 25 different organizations in the city participating in some way, that would be a great write-up.
I would think so too.
Nationwide, saying, look at what this town did, look at what this city did. They got all these people together for boom, boom, boom. And that could be a model for other cities. So I think that would be great.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, I just love that idea. I agree. And Ned, do you have any thoughts?
Can we get more information about, I guess, what is even projected or planned or what would be involved? I mean, it sounds wonderful, but I don't know what I would be agreeing to since I haven't seen the information.
Okay. Cheryl?
Yeah, do you want, I can just give an overview. I don't know how
Yeah,
we
that
are
would
on
be great.
time. Okay. Well, I keep saying last year, but this past February, an organization called Heritage 365, it was sort of like a grassroots organization with Shay Woodbury, who's the chair of the school board, Kelly Easton, who's with Equity for Action, wanted to do a pop-up museum for Black history. So they found a couple granting organizations to give them some money and asked Triad Cultural Arts' involvement. It was to actually curate the exhibit. And this was done very, very quickly within a 2-month period. But we did have a pop-up exhibit over at the Reynolds Park Recreation Center. I know it's named something different now. But the exhibit was up from February through the 1st of March. There are 4 core segments in the exhibit: education, spirituality, activism, and business or entrepreneurship. So we put together display panels on each of those areas, and we had another area, health, due to Winston-Salem State's wonderful Healthcare Legends of East Winston exhibit. We were able to get some of their panels to display as well. On Saturdays, there were conversations, or community organizations came in, and Linda Dock was a part of that. She and when Linda came, it was you and Evelyn Terry. And they made a presentation. Linda, did you talk about the archive? Anyway, it was good. So anyway, each Saturday had a community focus section, and people from the community. Oh, Darthula came, and you did the Big 4 for education.
Right.
Yeah. So at any rate, we got good response from that exhibit, and people wanted to know what was next. So as a result, we decided to do a second pop-up exhibit again in February. And we're sort of calling these pop-up exhibits cultural boutiques, if you will. And we wanted, because we have more time to work on it, we can involve more organizations, because like I said, the last one was within a 2-month time frame. So I reached out to the AA. I reached out to Darthula as a representative of the African American Heritage Initiative, reached out to Linda with the African American Archive, reached out to, I can't think of her name, with the North Carolina Black Rep. Also reached out to F. Lee Howell, who has Thankful Heritage. He has several exhibits. Reached out to Sharon Frazier because of her father's work crafting some of the exhibit buildings in Old Salem. And who else? Brian McCorkle at the Anderson Center. So, and this was maybe 2 weeks ago. We just wanted to send out an email to see if people would come together, because we plan to do the pop-up this year at the Urban League, which is a very big space. And we could use, everybody's, more organizations to provide materials for the exhibit. Now, of course, we don't know what COVID will be like in February, so it's possible that it may have to be done online, but it will be a walk-in exhibit. And that's it in a nutshell. Do you have any questions? And I probably took longer than I should have. Did that answer your question, Annette?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's really helpful, Cheryl.
Uh-huh.
So I see Annette just came on. Just to catch you up to date, Annette, we're talking about collaboration primarily, and how we might, at our next meeting, have a more in-depth discussion about how groups might collaborate. And Cheryl talked about this new group called Heritage 365, and we talked about the archive, and we were talking about Preservation 21 and possibly Delta Fine Arts Center and some other groups. And
Oh, yeah, and Delta Arts, I forgot to mention them, yes.
Yeah.
They were.
Oh, really? Right. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to work on this over the next month. Is that what we're saying? Is that what you said, Linda or Cheryl, about putting together, people sending in a slide presentation, and then we can present it at our next meeting, or at least we can condense it and send it at our next, show it at our next meeting? I see his thumb up. Is that what we said? Okay.
This Annette, would it be helpful if at our next meeting we focused on making sure that we all have gotten our subcommittees together, and then before we bring somebody else in, and then maybe ask them to join the following meeting?
You can do that. Yeah. I know you were, yeah, I think, what do you think? I mean, I understand we don't want to be overwhelmed, and I tend to put too many things together at once, or think I can. Because it is important to get these subcommittees really strong and get them going.
Dot.
Yeah.
And I agree with Annette. I think right now, if we know who the other players are or what the other projects are, and that's why I suggested have them send us a written statement, then we can see what's going on within the city. And then at that point, we can decide if it's appropriate to have a face-to-face cooperation. But yeah, I agree with Annette for right now. In the beginning, let's just find out. It's sort of like pulling together a directory somewhat.
Yeah.
Just to find out what's going on and who is doing what. And then we can decide if having some of those folks would be useful to us. But we do at least need to know. We need to at least do an assessment.
Right. So that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, just gathering the information for now.
Right.
And these weeks pass by so quickly. So if we talk about maybe doing that in October, then they'll give us time to gather the information. If they want to send slides or however we want to put this together, we'll have more time. And then we'll know whether we want to invite them to the meeting themselves. Is that a plan?
I like it.
All right, one last thing is, before we go on, we talked last time a little bit about marketing. I know we talked about working with the marketing department, but we didn't really talk about a plan, I don't think. And it seems like we would need a plan, or it would be helpful, let me put it like that, a plan for moving forward on what we're going to do. A lot of people have never heard of our group, of AAHI, or African American Heritage Initiative. You know, we've done a few things to publicize and promote our project, but we haven't really, and we've got things on the website, the city's website. But what do you think about putting together an actual written plan, so we'll know where we're going through the next, at least through, you know, the next 6 months or a year? I know that takes a little bit of work, but I would be willing, if people would send me your ideas, I'd be willing to work on it and work with Wanda or Larry or whomever is necessary to work with on developing that plan, or writing up that plan. What do you think? You think that's helpful? That would be helpful? Or, I mean, I don't like operating in the dark, and we've been doing that, and we just want to get stronger and more profound in what we're doing. Thoughts?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Jane, you have any thoughts about that, or Linda? Or
So
Nat?
what are you asking us to write up a plan, our plan, for our group? Is that what you're asking?
Well, I initially was going to ask that, but that would be very, very helpful if you wanted to do that. What I was thinking about was an overall plan for for our committee, for AHI, that we develop a plan. And then, yes, in it, we want to include specifics about the groups. In many cases, it's going to be, we're all going to be working together anyway, and it's going to be an overall plan and a specific plan as well. Did I answer your question, Jane? We talked about what marketing could do, and I'm if I understand correctly, marketing would work with us as best they could in whatever way we want to go. So if you have thoughts, you might just have 2 or 3 thoughts. Just email them to me.
Okay.
I'll put it together. I'll run it by the city folks that we're working with, Wanda and Nat, whomever, and then we can formalize it, bring it back to the next meeting or the meeting after, and then see how. Because part of that plan might be how we're going to collaborate with these other agencies.
Okay. All right.
That makes sense.
We'll send you our thoughts or ideas.
And I'll put it with my thoughts, and then we'll run it by the city personnel. Get their input.
Dr. Thula, this is Annette. How's everybody? Welcome,
Hello.
everybody. Good to see you. Are you talking about putting together a marketing and a promotions plan, or what kind of plan are you talking about? I got a little lost.
Yeah, marketing, social media.
So things you might want to have. So say September, you want to do a social media blast on requesting people to go upload stuff on the website. And maybe October, you want to get a promotion on the light, or maybe you want to have certain articles published through the journal, or the Chronicle's all digital now. But is that the kind of thing, or
that's exactly.
You want to make sure that you're going to let people know that, or say that you want to do, I heard something about a pop-up museum. So if you're doing a pop-up museum on a certain date, you want to make sure AAHI has a presence there where people can know that they can distribute or upload information, or give them information about how they can upload on the city. So you're thinking about, I'm trying to understand, you're thinking about a calendar of events that help promote your collecting data, but also tell people that you are in existence, and some kind of, that's what you're sort of asking for. Is that
That's
right?
exactly, yes. So just makes sense to have something on paper, so we'll know what direction we're going.
And don't forget, the school is online, and they don't necessarily have to have an African-American class, but one of the things that you could do is maybe every month you send them something that you've received for them to share in the school system. Or you can target somebody or some information that you've collected, and you send to them to distribute from kindergarten up to high school on local history. Stuff that comes in. You could sort of be, you could be the distributor of African American knowledge to the kids in the school system, or maybe you ask them to collect the story from their grandparent or their mother, or something in the area that they don't know about, but they researched. I think that's the kind of thing you could do through the organization, through the committee.
And once we understand how we're going to collaborate, with other agencies, then that'll help us a lot too with putting together that plan. Who's going to do what, and how we're going to support each other, what other people are doing. And one thing that Cheryl had mentioned earlier was with their pop-up museums that they're proposing, or pop-up exhibits, or maybe I should say, how can we help them? And her question was, are we interested in supporting them in doing that? And how can we get other people to support us and whatever? I just think it will make it much stronger. We don't want to operate in a vacuum, and we want to have, if we're going to do a program, we want it to be really powerful.
And Councilwoman Scipio, there were two people from the school system. Cheryl, you probably know who they were, a man and a woman, who were interviewing people at the museum, at the pop-up at the recreation center. And then from what I understand, they did publish that on the school system website. So those people are already familiar, and I'm sure it would be very easy to get them or get to them on a regular basis, Don.
Agreed.
Yep, that was Kim Underwood.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, somebody was talking.
I was telling Linda that was Kim Underwood with the school systems
Right.
marketing department.
That's what I was just thinking of, yeah, thanks. Makes sense to me. Anybody have any other comments on the ideas or the updates that I gave? That we gave, actually.
I have a question going back to this Annette, going back to Cheryl's. I guess, Cheryl, was that communication that you sent to Dothula a request for our participation or support of the pop-up museum that we need to make some type of commitment for, or was it just for information?
Good question.
Yeah, it was a request to have a representative from this organization as a part of the committee. And Dr. Lewis, was probably the way that I worded it. I said, you're being sent this email because of your affiliation or organization. So I probably should have been more direct. But yes, the request was to have our organization as a part of the committee, the planning committee.
I hear what you're saying. So you're putting together a planning committee now, and you want someone from this group to support or be a part of it.
To be a part of the planning committee. That way, everybody's involved from the beginning, and whatever you bring, whatever you want to bring to the table, or however, everybody's shaping the project, which we did not, as I mentioned, have that time to do last year, but because we're getting started, that's 6 months in advance, I don't know, but that will give more time for planning.
Okay. So is there anybody who particularly feels really strongly about wanting to be a part of that? Wanting to represent us as part of the planning committee?
Can we get back to you?
And that's it.
I was just thinking it from the perspective that it probably would be, if you're doing panel presentation, I was just thinking that maybe we could partner with the Panhellenic Council and have the Greek letter organizations do some type of presentation about their impact in the community.
Oh, you mean
where I was thinking that, well, I'm sorry, say that again.
I said, oh, you're talking about representing the AKAs or the Greeks? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying, I'm thinking that would be a part of the display, but I'm not saying any one particular group. So I was just thinking of a way organizations as a whole in the community could get involved in the pop-up.
I think right now she's just asking for somebody to be a part of the planning committee, to plan.
Right, and as a part of that, if somebody says this group needs to be included, yes, absolutely.
And anytime you want something about the Big Four, and I have that information, I'll be glad to share that. I'd also be willing to I'll help with the planning, but I wanted to give, other people a chance to say so if they wanted to do it, to represent this committee. I could represent education, period. Doesn't matter. So when did you say you all are going to meet again, Cheryl? The Heritage 365 Committee?
Sorry. The date hasn't been set yet,
Okay,
but it'll be in August.
okay.
It'll be this
Okay.
month.
So can we leave it like that? I'll be glad to represent education. And if somebody else wants to represent this committee, then we want them to step up and we'll support them.
Yeah, well, yeah, education I'm sure we'll have that as a component, but
I'm thinking on
Yeah,
behalf
it'll
of the
be
big
there. That'll
four.
be
That's the
great.
only reason I say that, yeah.
okay, all right, okay,
Historical education.
okay.
Yeah.
Mrs. Chairman, can I ask a question
Yes.
to Ms. Harry? You're wearing multiple hats. So in one way, you're representing this committee, but what I'm hearing from your voice is that you really want someone to operate specifically from this committee instead of you wearing the many hats that you're wearing in that. Is that correct?
That's correct. One hat, many colors.
Yeah. And so you really want to, and are you leading that planning team also, you yourself?
I'm pulling it together.
Okay. So I know everybody is busy and probably not wanting to commit themselves, but you need someone right away. Is that right? And so our chairperson has said she would be willing to step in as represent education. I'd like to ask if our vice chair would like to represent this committee on that group, or if she has time to do that. Ms. Penn?
Well, I mean, I worked on a lot of committees and a lot of groups over the years. I mean, I really don't mind, but I'm not familiar with a lot of things that are going on. If I'm more of a novice when it comes to what she's working with, but I mean, I really don't mind.
I was thinking that one of the assets that you bring to that is the Friends of the East Winston Library. There are so many people there who are also interested in our heritage and our culture, and just a natural connection where you could actually engage other people into that pop-up museum concept that traditionally aren't being asked, and yet they have a need for, you got more friends are needed, and it's just another way to engage them since you are really engaged in that. So I'm thinking of that, that you would be a really good asset to start bringing in people from the community to help with that pop-up. That's what I was thinking.
Okay. All right.
If you have
Saying you
time.
could do it?
I'm willing if I'm willing.
Great. So you got her name down, Cheryl?
Thank you, Jane.
Excuse me. So Ms. Penn will be the representative for the initiative, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have one more comment.
Mm-hmm.
I know COVID has actually put a damper on this committee a bit and has slowed down your progress a lot. Oh, wait a minute, Ms. Penn, I think we got to have a motion. Ms. Johnson is keeping order here. I think there has to be a motion. Is that right?
All right, Ms.
For
Johnson.
me to
That is
represent the group and y'all have to take
That
a
is
vote.
correct. That is correct, Councilmember Scipio.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Johnson is
Someone make
helping.
a motion, please?
Ms. Johnson did just make the motion.
Well,
Yes.
I thought that was just a suggestion.
I think you have to have
Jocelyn?
a formal motion.
Ms. Johnson, is she still on the call?
Mm-hmm.
Or would anyone else want to make the motion? We lost her, I guess.
Listen, Nat Wilson, I will make the motion that Ms. Penn represent the committee on the pop-up museum initiative.
Excuse me, Mr. Thula, you can make a motion through the chat room like Ms. Joy
Okay.
just did. So that was her formal motion. You can do that. So you would just need someone to second it.
Okay,
I second
so,
Annette Wilson.
okay, it's been moved and properly second that that we accept Ms. Penn as our representative to, let me see what it's called, to the 365, Heritage 365, representing us. So we have a vote?
Okay.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Mr. Thula, you need a roll call vote. So you would just call everybody
That's right.
one by one.
What did I do with my list? Okay, thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome.
Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Linda Dark? Still with us, Linda?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Cheryl Harry?
Aye.
Jocelyn Johnson? Ms. Johnson, you still there? She must be having some audio problems.
She said aye on chat. She said aye on chat.
Okay, I didn't see that. Jane Penn?
Aye.
Annette Wilson?
Aye.
Dathula Barron, aye. Is there anybody else on the call that we don't know about? So it looks like the ayes have it, then Ms. Penn will be our representative to the Heritage 365. Thank you. Okay, I'm done with my updates and my suggestions. And so I believe we can move on unless somebody else has something before we do that. I believe, Wanda, you are next. You had some things you wanted to share?
Yes, just following the order of the agenda, where director's updates, which I'm going to combine in the interest of time with city staff updates. And so I would like to defer to marketing. I think Frank Elliott is on the call. And Frank, I know you and I spoke briefly earlier, but would you mind briefing AAHI on what has happened with the PSA since they last met? If Frank can hear me.
I can hear it. Had to clear a screen. I'm multitasking right now. This is an eventful day, as you know, in our city.
Yes, yes.
And something just came out, and I'm sort of dealing with that at the same time. You're asking me to talk about what exactly?
Just what we've done with the PSA since the last meeting.
What we've done with the PSA in terms of we got it out. We re-edited the Juneteenth. Got it at the start and the back of the Juneteenth video that was in rotation, and now we have it in rotation on our channel, and we can get it on Facebook. Wanda's asking about that. It really would be nice when I think it'll stand alone on Facebook as is because of the way it's worded, but it would be really nice when we can sort of put some stuff out there and encourage, use it as a call to action to get people to start actually submitting things.
Right. Super.
Thank you so much, Frank.
Yeah.
Thanks to you and your team for all the hard work on that.
Well, it's not as swift as we would have liked it, but these are unusual times right now.
Very much so.
Right.
So thank you.
So you're also going to talk about the website and
No, this is just marketing right now. And next I'm going to move on to the IS team, who they're on the call as well. They have staff on the call. And so Ashley, Tom, I'm not sure who is going to lead that, but I'd like to defer to you now.
Hey, Wanda, let me give a quick update, and then I'm going to let Ashley talk details about phase one. So phase one, as you all know, and I know you see an email. I'm sorry. Good afternoon, folks. Ashley and Mary and their team have been working on the application, as you've seen the draft version, to allow citizens to upload documents, pictures, etc. And we'll be showing you that later today. Probably the biggest hurdle of the last 30 to 60 days wasn't necessarily the form itself, but was doing so in a secure way so we can prevent anybody from uploading any kind of document that has malware or cybersecurity issues with it. The second phase, phase two, as we talked about, is to release an RFP to the community or to vendors to find a solution to be your landing platform where citizens will go to look at the documents, and also be our final resting place of documents such as Digital Forsyth and Winston-Salem State use today. The IS staff has put together a draft RFP that we would release to vendors. That's actually sitting on my desk for me to review. But we'll probably look to release that with our purchasing department. I'll say 30 days out, but before we do that, we want to make sure we run it by Wanda and Frank and members of your committee. So somewhere in the next 2 to 4 weeks, you'll probably see what we will call the final draft on RFP. Certainly take any feedback you have. Once we feel like it's ready to go on the street, we'll work with purchasing and release it to the vendor community looking for a solution. Again, it's going to be something similar to what Digital Forsyth and Winston-Salem State use. Matter of fact, I would not be surprised if both those vendors that are used by them reply to our RFP. So that's where we're at in that. And again, Ashley and her team are well prepared with the phase one form. And I believe Ashley's going to do a demonstration here. I certainly am not prepared to do it. So are you there, Ashley?
I am prepared to share my screen here and do the presentation.
Okay. I guess we're good to go then. Can I make sure, I guess, Chairwoman Barham, can you make sure you can all see the screen once Ashley puts it up?
Okay.
Can you all folks see that?
Yes.
Okay, go for it, Ashley.
She's muted, yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry, I had trouble getting back to the screen so I could unmute myself. Okay, so as Tom mentioned, my team has had the privilege of working on this. Credit to Mary Johnson, who couldn't be here today because she's on vacation. But this is the form that you guys, I think that we sent out for testing. As soon as you all decide that you're ready to market this website to the public, it's ready to go. I've gone ahead and filled in just some test information so you guys don't have to watch me type. But it's pretty self-explanatory, I believe, but if there are any changes before this goes live, certainly let us know. Simply at the top, name, email address, and phone number. These red asterisks indicate that it's a required field that the user must fill in before they submit it. In the item information, title, you'll see we have these little question marks. They are tooltips you can hover your mouse over and get further explanation as to what information you should be entering. For example, here in title, it says, give the item you're submitting a title that summarizes in a few words the item you're submitting. and it gives 3 different examples of titles that you could give various photos or documents or recordings. And we have description. Again, there's a tooltip. The subjects, you can click as many of these as you would like, and we develop these subjects in collaboration with you all, but if any of these need to be changed, added, deleted, they certainly can be. You can click as many as you want. You can also check other and fill in your own subject here, which is what I've done. And then going down here to this section, the creator of the item, the year or time period that it was created or is reflecting, and then the item owner. And again, these tooltips will help give an explanation of what the difference between the creator of the item and the item owner is. The creator being the person who took the photograph or recorded the oral history or created the document, and the item owner, it could be different, it could be the same, but whoever owns that particular image or document. And then we come down to the file upload area, and you'll see that we have an explanation on the screen of the various file formats that are acceptable: JPEG, PDF, WAV, AVI, DOC, DocX, XLS. Basically, these are photo file types, spreadsheet, Word documents, recording, and video and audio recording types. We do have a 250 megabyte file size limit per file. For this technology that we have for phase 1, we can't go any higher than that. That's a limit of our technology that we're using right now per file, and a limit of 12 files per submission. We can go higher than that. We were given a directive to keep it at 12. We can go higher or lower on the number of files per submission. So you pick a file type, and we have audio recording document, picture and video available, and you just click that and it will come up to your PC. I've got a test document ready that I'm going to add, and you can see that it uploaded. It's got the size there, and if you want to add another item, you click here. Again, pick a type, choose a file, and this time I'm going to upload a photo, and my computer's a little slow, sorry. There we go. And again, you can keep adding until you get to 12. And we have our disclaimers on the screen. These were written by our city attorney's office, but we can put whatever text here is needed. These must be checked in order to submit, and there's a public disclosure here, again, written by the city attorney's office. We also have a CAPTCHA here at the bottom. This is just for protection for us, so that we don't get individuals who are, going to want to spam the site with useless information, maybe set up a script or a robot or something to continually send in dummy submissions. So we'll make you click that, and then they simply hit the submit button, and you get this return page. You see at the top, thank you for your submission. It's got a date and time, and you're able to download, print, or email yourself a copy of this page. If you click download, it'll generate a PDF that you can download and save on your computer. If you hit print, you print this screen out to your printer, or if you click email, you can see it will give you a pop-up here, and you can put in your email address, and it will email you a PDF copy of this, which is on the screen too, a copy of what you put. We also have on the screen before in here, there's an email address here that we've set up with the city. It is available for questions for the public, AAHI@cityofws.org. So that is pretty much it. Any questions?
I just have a question for, I don't know whether it should go to Wanda or Annette or whom it should go to. Question about, I've heard a few people in the community say that they're reluctant to submit anything because they don't want to give up rights to their family documents or pictures, because they might want to publish their book themselves. How do we get around that?
Give me just a second, Jack.
Okay.
Sorry. Well, I think that what we're going to continue doing is working closely with our city attorney's office to make sure that we just handle that on a case-by-case basis. We talked about it with our internal AAHI committee meetings, and what we've tried to do is to make sure that we can reasonably anticipate when something like that would come up. But quite frankly, there's just really no way to know when and how those issues would come up. But we do have language that I know our assistant city attorney crafted to make sure that people understand that if there are any kind of hesitations about the legalities of sharing information, that we would certainly take that into account. And so that's kind of where we've left it. And of course, like I said, as time goes on, we're going to definitely have to step that up and try to deal with those issues as they arise. But we know that they probably will arise.
That's helpful. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Anybody else have any comments, questions?
The form itself was very easy to work with when they sent us the practice test, and it was very easy to work with.
I think Cheryl basically said the same thing when she used it too.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that it's ready to go.
Yeah. Impressive. Thank you guys so much.
This is Tom. I guess we would just need to know, I believe actually we're still in a development mode that was not really being backed up or in production, but at some point we want to turn this loose to the public. Once you all decide you want to turn it loose, we'll make sure it's in our production backup schedule nightly. Maybe that should be tied into your marketing plan. I'm not sure, but obviously we want to make sure when it's loose, turn loose to the public, we will make sure we're backing it up in a true production manner and everything is retained. I mean, it is today. What Ashley just showed you is being backed up, but we have nightly backups that run for all our production systems on our website. So we are, I guess, Ashley, unless I'm wrong, we're ready to go whenever you're all ready to turn it loose.
We are ready to go. Actually, this is in our production environment right now. We had said that we would close the testing period with the committee today. And so after the end of today, we will purge all of the test entries that you guys did during test from our archive and just wait for your signal that we're ready to put the link out to the public. And then anything that is collected from then on will be a part of our actual archive for this initiative.
So we could actually vote on that now, right? And give you all the freeway to go on and do what you need to do.
That'd be great.
Is that what we need to do, Wanda? That makes sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. In that case, then, can we have a motion to accept this submission form?
I move that we accept the online permission form as presented, and that we give the production team the approval to go on and make it live. Is that the motion?
Yeah.
I think I said that correctly.
I think you did.
Okay.
I'll second.
So it's been moved and properly seconded that we accept the submission form as submitted and give the production team permission to move forward in making it available to the public. So are we ready to vote?
Yes.
Okay. So those in favor say aye.
You got to
Okay,
call
we
the
got to do
roll.
Got to
roll
do
call.
each
Sorry.
person.
You know my memory, senior moment. Okay, Linda Dark,
Aye.
aye. Cheryl Harry,
Aye.
Jocelyn Johnson. Maybe she's not on the call anymore. Jane Penn. Okay, Jocelyn said aye. Thanks. Jane Penn,
Aye.
Annette Wilson,
Aye.
aye. Dathula Barrett, aye. Okay, so the ayes have it. So we're ready. You all have our permission to please move forward. We're excited about it. Thank you.
Okay. I would like to give a plug to Ashley and Mary and team. I think they did a great job with tools. We didn't have to buy any software. We used existing tools in-house. And really a credit to the committee because the forum's only as good as you give us information design. So I think it was a great collaboration. It turned out really good. So appreciate your effort and your support.
We appreciate everything you're doing to help us. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you to the IS team. You all are awesome.
Thank you, Wanda. Thank you, Wanda.
It up to Tom. You got a great team. You've been a wonderful help to us from the inception, and I give you guys all of the honor for that. You guys are super.
Well, thanks.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good customer to work for.
All right.
Thanks so much, Tom.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Sorry, no, it
That's
wasn't.
all we had, Ms. Dothula. That was all we had for the city staff updates.
Okay, and then you have timetable calendars.
Well, I was just going to suggest that you all continue with your monthly meetings, even if it's through the virtual platform, just to keep the momentum going. And we have already been in touch with marketing to have the virtual platform reserved for your first Wednesdays of the month. So that was going to be my suggestion, is that you just continue like that. And so we would be looking at the first Wednesday of each month, as you all have always done. And we will just continue to work with marketing to coordinate and facilitate it virtually.
Okay, I wanted to go back to what someone said before, and I can't remember whom it was, about, I think someone was asking, could we have our September meeting later in the month? Because
I think that was when you all were thinking about having the presenters to present in September, but then you decided to wait until October or later. So I think that was, I made a note of that too, but then you all changed your minds about having presenters in September.
I don't think it was about, I thought someone said they were having a meeting in September and they were asking if we could meet at, it had to do with the subcommittees. Maybe I just made that up.
No, Jane, wasn't that your committee? You said you're going to meet with them early September.
Can you hear me?
So we can hear you.
I did make that suggestion.
Are you still hoping to do it that way, or would you be okay with the first Wednesday? I mean, I really think it's important to get your committee and every committee's input in these meetings.
But I think in fairness to the fact that we set this date and it's been blocked, and in fairness to the staff, we should continue with our first Wednesday meetings, and then these reports would then start taking place evidently in October. If we have a meeting between now and then, we will report on it at September. But I don't think we can go back and forth on our meeting dates in fairness to everybody involved with calendars and everything.
All right, I agree.
Okay, so you'll just meet, I mean, we'll give whatever reports we have at the next meeting. And then anybody who doesn't have their report, then they can give it in October. Okay?
Okay.
Everybody reasonable?
That's reasonable.
Yes, it is.
Miss Barron,
Yes.
is the meeting at 2:00 now instead of later? Since it's virtual, what's the time for the meeting on the first Wednesdays?
I don't have the answer to that. I think we were just following whatever lead we got from the city.
Right, that's true because the meeting is supposed to be at 3, but marketing asked that we move it up to 2 for this month because they had another meeting that they were providing the virtual platform for. And so they needed to bump AAHI up to 2 so that they could squeeze you both in for today.
So is it gonna be
Marketing
3?
request.
Is it gonna be 3 ongoing or 2 ongoing?
I would hope that we could do it a little bit later. The 3 o'clock would be better for me. 2 is a little bit early, but I'll go with whatever anybody wants to do.
Yeah.
Certainly, we can request 3. We can request a 3 o'clock time slot, but just with the understanding that we have to kind of work with, the marketing schedule because they're the ones providing the platform for us so that the meetings can be publicly accessed.
We just have to be flexible. We'll say 3, and if they say do it at 2, we'll do it at 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you, everybody. Great meeting. Thanks for those who signed on, and we're missing the others who weren't able to make it. And we will see each other the first Wednesday in September at 3, hopefully. If we have to do it another time, we will.
And Larry Bell just sent a message saying that he will likely need you all to stay at 2. But we'll take it month by month.
Yeah, and we understand everybody there is very busy. If we have to do it at 2, we have to do it at 2. I just have to make sure my hair is combed before 2.
I understand that 100%. Totally understand that one.
Okay, sounds good.
You just need a motion to adjourn and the roll call vote and all of that. So,
okay, can we have a motion? Can someone make a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion for adjournment.
Any second?
Second.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded that we adjourn our meeting for today. And so now we're ready to vote. Is everybody ready for the vote? Those in favor, say aye. No, I'm sorry, I gotta do a roll call. This is something blocking, I'm blocking for some reason. Linda Dark.
Aye.
Cheryl Harry. Cheryl, you still on the call?
Oh, excuse me. Aye. Yes.
Okay. And Jocelyn just sent a message that she votes aye. Jane Penn. Did Jane respond?
Did you hear me?
Now we do. Yeah. So you vote aye?
Aye.
Sure. And Annette Wilson?
Aye.
Datula Barron, aye. Thank you, wonderful. And I wanted to say too, before we leave, I apologize for calling people by their first names. I just think you're all a family, because many of you I've known forever. But I understand I should be saying Councilwoman Scipio and other labels I should put on names. And if you have a label that you want me to use, I'll be glad to. I'm just, I'm in that mode, especially since I'm sitting at home at my dining room table. Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate it. Good meeting, and we'll see each other next month.